Okay. Amanda, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and getting on. We're so excited to have you. Can you share your story for people who don't know you? Because it's such an amazing story, and I would love to hear it again.
Yeah, of course. Hey guys, thanks for letting me join your 10X Zoom. How cool is that you guys are doing this whole thing every Thursday. So I think that's just the coolest thing ever. But anyways, you guys, I am Amanda. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm an ambassador diamond. We just promoted our presidential or 2.0 to presidential in February. And I've been doing this business for 7 years. And so when I started this business, I worked full time as a dental hygienist. So for those of you guys who still work full time or started this business working full time, like I hear ya, it is, introducing like this business and juggling work and maybe you're in school or family and this business, the coolest thing is there is always room for something that we want, and so I started this. We had so much debt, you guys. I had over $120,000 just in student loans. We had medical debt, we had just credit card debt, all of the above. And so we were really living paycheck to paycheck. We were borrowing money from my mother-in-law, and we were just like in a hard place. And we had just more month than we did money. And so anyways, that wasn't even like the struggle of it all, because we could definitely like get by, and we were, but I struggled so much, you guys. After we had our first son Jax, I struggled so much with anxiety, and I just wanted nothing more than to be at home with him. I miss him, I felt guilty, I felt like I was missing out on so much. And so that was a really big struggle for me. I prayed literally for over 2 years, just for something to come where I could maybe work a little bit less, or maybe my husband's job would make more. Like I was just always praying. I did like extreme couponing, you guys, like to the point where I would buy like shelves, and we had so much stuff because I'm like, we're going to save money everywhere we can so I can like, maybe work a little bit less, but that didn't do anything. I did a spray tanning business for a little bit, but there was just nothing that was going to give that income that I needed to be able to work a little bit less. So anyways, you guys, when I say that this business just fell into my lap, it really did. I am not a salesperson. I'm a little bit more shy. Like I'm not somebody just to like the most outgoing person. I'm not going to be the loudest person at the party. And this is just something totally out of my comfort zone. But the thing is I saw other people were doing this. And like I said, at the point where I was at, I felt like I had no other, like, I had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? And I would try anything at that point because I wanted nothing more than to come home and be a stay at home mom. And so well, I think when your why is just so strong and you want something so bad, you are willing to do whatever it takes. We didn't have the money, the $99 to get started. So I put it on a credit card that we were racking up anyways. And so I'm like, just pray that this could like, help us make a couple $100 extra a month. And I went to an event. That's why I think like events are so important. If you guys haven't got your conference ticket yet, like please do so. Get yourself like there, just whether it's a watch party or whatever it is, you guys, the events that they put on are just incredible. And you hear people's stories and they're so powerful. And so anyways, I went to this event. It was a very small one, didn't know anyone. And I walked in there thinking, okay, maybe I can learn how to make a couple $100 extra a month. And then I walked out of that event thinking like, heck no, like I'm totally selling myself short. Why do I only want a couple $100 extra a month? I want to come home. These people are making crazy amounts of money. Like this is something that could help me come home, like really come home and retire hygiene. And so I ran home and I told my husband, and he was just like, okay, like shaking his head that, like probably not believing anything I was saying, but very, supportive. And so anyways, I pulled out the income disclosure statement, and I thought, okay, double diamond is about the amount of what I was making as a hygienist. So I thought if I can get to double diamond, that would be amazing. You guys, I always like to share this because I think this is really important, because I think that sometimes we feel that either our downline needs to help us or our upline needs to help us, or sidelines. Sometimes we feel like, okay, this, like, I can't do this alone. But here's the thing. We are in this, like you are in this business. You're your own boss. right? But you're not alone. But the thing is, you guys, I didn't have an upline. I signed up with my friend. We were like two like blind people leading, we were just like didn't have no clue what we were doing, like the blind leading the blind. And so we went to YouTube. And my friend ended up quitting. I went to YouTube and I thought, okay, I'm gonna find the top leaders, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and I'm just gonna mimic exactly what they're doing. So I did, and a lot of the stuff was totally out of my comfort zone. Posting about certain things or adding people to my network, like it was out of my comfort zone. But the thing is I didn't care because my why was so important that I was willing to do anything to make this business work so I could come home. And what I did is I worked full time. So I would wake up, and my first patient was at 7 in the morning, you guys. So that means I had to be at my job at 6 in the morning. And so I would wake up literally a little bit before 5, and I would make my first post, or I would add people, or I would get back to people. I would work my business just a little bit before I had to go to work. Then I would go in my car on my lunch break and I would work. In between patients, I would run to the bathroom and I would answer people. When I got home after we put our first son, Jax, to bed, I would then go and work my business. I would stay up late. Probably for 5 months, you guys, I probably got hardly any sleep. But the thing is I didn't care. I was so hungry to get to Double Diamond, and I was going to work this business in every nook and cranny of the day. Even if I had to tell my husband, sorry, we can't watch that movie, but guess what? I will be able to soon. Or, I had to not be able to do things on the weekends or whatever it was. It didn't matter, because what mattered to me was I just wanted to get to Double Diamond as soon as I could. So I did. In 5 months, I went Double Diamond, and my paycheck was actually more than my dental hygiene paycheck was ever. It was so amazing. And we got pregnant with our second son, and I went down 1 day a week only. And after we had Crew, our second son, I then retired. So I've now actually been retired from dental hygiene for over 6.5 years. All that debt, you guys, we paid off because of this business. We paid cash for our pool. We have 2 boats that we pay complete cash for. This business has just given us full freedom. And the coolest part is like, I get to see, and I see some of my people on here, but I get to see other people rise up. I get to see you guys rise up and see other people just having incredible wins and changing their life through this business. And that's the most beautiful thing, I think, about everything, is God didn't put me in this business just for me. He put me in this business so I can serve and I can help other people not struggle, and help other people find a solution and have options out there. So that's just a little bit of my story.
Sorry, I was taking notes. Okay. So, wow, it's crazy because I sent you some questions, and I don't think I sent you all of them that we have. And you talked about some really powerful things in your story that definitely were part of the questions, but I'm going to change the subject for 1 second before we start. Not really the subject, but I'm just going to change my plans that I had. And the fact that you mentioned conference, like, I just want to talk about that for like 2 minutes, because I actually went live today in our group page, and I was like being super real with my team. I'm like, can I be real with y'all right now? Like, you guys know that it's always, hopefully know that, like, even me and Amanda, it's always coming from our heart and with honesty and being very straightforward and blunt sometimes, because if not, we would be doing you a disservice. You have to get to conference. And it saddens me a little bit, of course, because we can't have it the way we used to, right? But it's even leaders who have been in this business, and have gotten to conference prior when it wasn't virtual, like, y'all have to have your tickets. There's no excuses in any way, shape, or form. And even for people who maybe you're new and you have no idea what conference is, if you want this business to work and you want this, you have to be there. And you don't even, like, we used to figure out Sorry, I'm chewing gum. I should throw it out. That's rude. But we would have to buy flights and like buy hotel rooms to get there. It's virtual, right? So you can do it from home. And another thing too that's really important is you have so much time to plan to make sure that you can make reservations for like maybe a babysitter, or to not be super distracted, because sometimes we take advantage of that. If things are virtual now, I'm totally guilty of that as well. But it's something that will completely change your life. And like I started that when I was taking notes, because that, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that when you went to conference, that was kind of like the game changing moment for the first like part of your business. I know you've been in for almost 7 years, but that was like really when you saw the vision, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Just
I mean,
hearing those stories is just so powerful, and it just makes you feel like, okay, I can do this too. It kind of gives you that little confidence.
mhm. All right, I'm gonna throw my gum out now. Forgive me. Okay, so make sure you get your conference ticket and make sure you are there, because I'm telling you, guys, success leaves clues. And every time I went to a conference, like after that, either paychecks exploded or like promotion happened. Okay, so we're gonna get on the questions because I'm really excited about this. Um, so the first question I kind of want to get into that a lot of people were curious about is something that's asked a lot. And I know you are one of the most consistent people I have watched for a while. I mean, I've been in for almost 6 years, and truly, you inspire me. We all look up to you a lot. So I want to know what your day to day like looks like, because I know you're extremely disciplined too, and that's something that we all want to hear about.
Yeah. So, I think that like my days are always going to look different. Like just for today was like my son went to school, but like, for 3 days this week, he was home sick. And so my days are always going to look different, depending on what we have going, sports or, family in town or whatever it is, just like you guys. And I think in this business, I've been through all types of seasons. I've been in this business working full time, working part time, being pregnant, being super sick, being pregnant, having two, kids under three, like, so I've been through it all with, them all home. And this was the first year that they're both in school. I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And so I think that no matter what your schedule is like, as long as you have a system put into place that makes it easy for you to be able to do each day, then I think that that's perfect. So I like to always plan out like my night before. So I have a morning routine and a nighttime routine. And in my nighttime routine, you guys, I just plan out like my next day kind of. So if I know, okay, we have dentist appointments, like one day we had like a dentist appointment, we had doctor's appointment, like it was just nuts. So I know when I have a busy day like that, I know that I'm just going to work my business in different times. Sometimes it's an increment. Sometimes I have to stay up late. So as long as I know, like, okay, this is when I can work my business. As long as I plan it and prepare for it, it gets done. So I know if I don't plan for it and I don't prepare for it, then I'm like at the end of the night, I'm like, okay, where did all this go? I made one post, I didn't reach out to anyone. And then that's when you're not going to see those results. So consistency really is the key. And I just make it a point to be super disciplined with the tasks that we do. So our team does like the KPI list. I'm sure you guys do like the KPI list or like the 6 list, something like that. And so what I always recommend is plan your day the night before. Okay. So when can you get out your post? When can you add people to your network? When can you follow up with those people? When can you get those host to post out? So I just, try to plan each thing. And the coolest thing is, you guys, when you do have systems put into place, like the boards or word board or, things like that, then it makes it super easy to get your workout. If you have post planned for you then the previous night, then okay, exactly what you're going to do. So when you prepare the night before, you wake up already with a plan, and so I think that's really important. But I think that the biggest thing is not working this business off of motivation, but working it off of discipline. Because I will tell you, not every day am I motivated to work the business. Probably hardly. I'm motivated for the results for sure, but I'm not every day like super like gung-ho about adding people to my network or going and following up or anything like that. Well, I do love to follow up, but there's certain tasks that I just like interacting. Like that's just one thing that I know that is so important, but I have to just make myself do it, And so I think as long as, you are incorporating discipline in your business every day and discipline in those tasks, then I think that you will see a lot of stuff getting done. Here's the thing. At the end of the night, if I go and I do my follow-ups and I'm like, okay, I didn't even get out my host to post, I didn't do anything, I'm going to make myself stay up later just so I get it done. So I try to make sure that I get everything done before I go to bed. And if it's not, then I just have to stay up a little bit later, and that's just kind of what it takes. So I think like the biggest thing is no matter what your schedule is like, prepare the night before and then figure out, okay, when can I get my host to post out? When can I, do my post? When can I do my follow-ups? When can I do my interactions? And then just before you go to bed, before you lay your head on the pillow, make sure it's all checked off, make sure that, it's all checked off. And then, you do your nighttime routine for the next day. So that's kind of, I don't know if that answers your question, Emily, but I think it's kind of hard to, like, I start my day off with a morning routine, and I end my night with a night routine. And in between there, I just get my tasks done.
No, for sure. And you're so right as far as like having that kind of be a hard question to answer, because I get that too sometimes. And I'm like, look, everyone is different, really. We may have some similarities, of course. We all have different lives. Like some of us have kids, I don't have kids, but our schedules are still crazy. Life happens, whatever it is. So it's really just like you said. My favorite quote I've ever heard was, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Cause that's like one of the realest of the real things I ever heard. I'm like, it's so true. And you just have to commit to yourself that you are going to be disciplined, and that sometimes there's really no right or wrong. I feel like personally for myself, and I know many of you guys may relate, I've been caught up many times in my business where I think that there's one right way to stay organized, or one right way to follow up, or one way to post, right? And it wasted so much of my time, but in reality, it's just about doing it, right? And consistently doing it, and you'll find your groove and you'll find what works best for you. So going into that, obviously we know that consistency is truly what's most important. And, the posting, messaging, growing your network, and following up are truly, the four most important things. But as far as enrolling, do you have any specific tips or anything that is like maybe the first thing that pops up in your head that you can give some advice for just enrolling in general? Like what is working for you?
Yeah. So I still do host to post, you guys. I think our team mostly does like host to post. That's a big thing for us. And we have a lot of high enrollers on our team. And so I just know host to post is something that is very duplicatable and it works. And so we've just continued to do that. So even times when people have said like, oh my gosh, host to post isn't working anymore, they switched to something else. We have always stayed on host to post because it does work. Sometimes I might have to get more messages out to get them, or ask more people, or things like that, but the host to post for us is just what gives us the results, because it opens up so many avenues. So it grows your network. You get potential customers, but then you also get potential distributors. So it's just a great system. I think that is duplicatable. It's easy, and it's proven to work. And so I stick to that. I know like TikToks and Reels is a really big thing. And I think that that's something that everyone should be incorporating. And I should probably be a lot better at that. But the thing is that's not a duplicatable system. I truly believe that's not a duplicatable system. It's something that is going to help your business grow, and you just never know when that boom is going to come. So I think it's super important to do something like that. But in the meantime, when you're doing that, don't lose focus on what is going to give you results like each day, each week, each month. Okay. So for us, it's host to post. It's the consistency of doing it. So we on our team have an overall like thing. You get 10 people to post for you every single day. And then after that, you guys, it's a lot has to do with following up. I find that a lot of times people will get so many hosts to post or do all the things, but then they're not signing customers or distributors. And then a lot of the times it's because they're not following up with people. So I am huge on following up. Like anyone that I've talked to today, after this, like during my night, before my nighttime routine, I will go, like after my kids go to bed, I'll do a little bit of work and I go through my messenger and I write down or I follow up with anyone who I've talked to. If they ignored me, I just send up a quick follow up like, hey, is this something that you're interested in doing? If they said that they were going to post for me and they didn't, I said, hey, do you want to get this post out? I'll get you entered into our giveaway. So I'm always following up with people. And then in the morning, I'll follow up with those people from, maybe the next day who didn't answer, or maybe that night who didn't answer. So I'm constantly following up with people, and that's, the fortune is always in the follow-up. So I think as long as like we are consistent with that, you guys are going to see, like, you're going to see consistent results come in. You're going to get customers every single day. You're going to get more distributors. And the thing is when we focus, so this is a big thing. When you're focusing on the tasks, you're organically going to get results. If you're focusing on the results like all day long and you're like, oh shoot, that person told me no, or that person didn't sign up, or gosh, I need 3 distributors, or 3 distributors, or however many customers to get mapped or charted, and they're just not coming, or if you're like, when you're focusing on that, it's just not going to come. It's going to be, you're going to see that it's going to be hard. But if you're actually focusing on the task and you're following up and you're making sure that you're asking new people, you're getting new people on your list, and you're doing that daily, you're going to see that over time, it's like that compound effect. You're going to see that over time, that all that work that you put in, it's now in this big ball, and you're going to start getting like customers and distributors all day long. They're always going to come in. I think it's very rare that a day goes by that I don't sign up a customer. It's very, very rare. And the reason why is because I'm always following up and I'm always being consistent. Now, am I working at my like phone and my computer 24/7? No, I'm not. I do it. I truly believe, and there's been times I have, but I truly believe that is not how this business is intended to work. It's intended that you get your stuff done and then you live your life. So as long as you're preparing for all of that and you're just getting your task done and you're doing it each day, not like, oh, I just got 15 hosted posts, so tomorrow I need to get out 5, or oh, I just got out 10 hosted posts, so I'm not going to get out 10. I'm not going to do hosted posts for like till Friday. As long as you're doing it every single day, you guys will see that compound effect of your results coming in daily.
Love it. I always say like this business is like baking a cake. You need all the ingredients, and that's like, the things that we do. We post, we message, we grow our network, and we follow up. You can't bake a cake with just egg and flour. You can't bake a cake with egg and milk. All 4 of them work together. So you master all 4 of them. That's where the duplication comes in. Love it. Okay. So you mentioned a few times when first starting your business and like taking it seriously, and your husband making some comments to you. And so there was a question about balancing everything, if there is such a thing, but there is, to a point. So with regards to being a mom, obviously a wife, I mean, we got friends, we got family, you have a business, and self-care, I mean, is a lot, right? So do you have any, what's your best advice as far as that? I know, for me personally, I went through it, with Aaron. I feel like I've gone through like phases of different things throughout the last 5.5, almost 6 years. Like, Aaron understanding and me like, not choosing this business over him kind of thing. Or my self-care, like not taking care of myself, realizing I didn't eat all day, and stuff like that. Or the opposite, where I just forgot, I didn't work my business for that day, and then before I know it, I'm like, oh my gosh, and getting in, sometimes it creates anxiety, obviously frustration. So I know that I'm not the only one, and it's almost normal for people to go through that as well. So if you can touch upon that.
Yeah. So, I mean, being in this for 7 years, I've definitely have been through like it all. I've had mom guilt. There's been several conversations. I mean, now I think that we have it pretty well. But before there's been several conversations, especially in the beginning, but mostly I think because my husband knew I was like so gung ho with getting it, done, double diamond as soon as possible. So there really wasn't anything after like before that. But I would say like afterwards, there definitely was talks about like we would be in the car and I'd just be on my phone trying to get work done. Because for me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, my husband's driving, my kids are in the back, and this is a perfect time I can sit up here and just get some work done. No interruptions. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was that. But for Derek, he didn't understand. That was a time for us to communicate. That was a time for us to talk, but he was driving and I was sitting on my phone. And so when he did bring something like that up, it's like, oh, it's something that, I can say, take a step back and say like, oh, okay, we need to talk about this. So he just needed to understand, okay, this is why I'm working on my phone in my car. And then he's fine with it. You know what I mean? So I think communication is key. Communication is so, so key when it comes to this business and, spouses like being, okay with this. I think that that is definitely important. The other thing I think is important is definitely making time for them, making time. And they don't need a whole lot of time, but, a little bit of like one-on-one time or, after the kids go to bed, then maybe we have, we watch a show for a little bit and then I can do some work, or getting those date nights in like once a week, as soon as like I felt like because there was like times where my husband did feel like it was just literally like my business, like the kids, my business, and then he's like last, and so I think just being aware of that and like them before it gets like icky, them like communicating that and then saying like, okay, what can we do to really make sure that everyone is like knows like the business doesn't come first, And the thing is when marriage is like when faith is at, the highest and marriage is at the highest, then everything else kind of falls into place. I truly believe that. That's how it has been for us. But from the very beginning with when it comes to the kids, like I felt like I try to make everything I can with them. There was times where I would feel mom guilt, like putting them to bed or, things like that, or, them going out. And I would stay back and work for like a big promotion or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, like they're kids, they're super resilient. And the thing is, they need to see us work. They need to see us have goals and work hard. And, they need to see us like miss goals and continue to go after those goals. And so I communicate from the very beginning with my children. And I would just say, okay, mommy's doing this so we can go on a Disneyland trip, or mommy's doing this so I can stay home. Like my kids know that the reason I get to stay home is because of this business. They know that. And so, cause I'm always talking about it. When they were little, I would just have them like work with me. Okay, guys, like mommy has to get a little bit of work done. Go grab your paper, your pad of paper and your crayons, and you guys do some work too with me. Just make it super fun for them. I would have them put like my like stickers, like when we had like the Blitz cards, I mean, I haven't blitzed in a very long time, but when we had those, I'd have them put like my names on. Some of you guys are probably like, what are Blitz cards? But I would have them put like my sticky, the name on and stuff like that, and just try to get them involved as much as possible. And then I think just so communication, making sure that we are having, like time with them. So again, this is where it's going to be so important, you guys, to plan when you are working this business and then communicate to them too, so I know my kids are at school now. So in the morning, you guys, I do my morning routine and then I do not even pick up my phone, like in my chats, like I've been up for hours, but I don't even say good morning in my chats until my kids are literally up and out the door for school, or we take them to school. So when they're, when I drop them off. And so then I come back and that's the time I work. So then I'm working, during the day. Today, I actually just had a lunch with, Derek. I took some time away just to have lunch. So, planning that kind of stuff. And then when my kids get home, my phone is away. But they don't need, the thing is, you guys, is your kids, your husband wants 20 minutes of your time, and then they're good. Like they don't need hours upon hours. And that's like, sometimes I think we don't understand that, but it's so true. And here's the other thing, you guys, if you guys have little kiddos, because I've been in this business all from since they're, newborns all the way till 6 and 9. So you guys who have little kiddos, the thing is, you guys, it is so good to let them figure it out and not always rely on us to keep them entertained. So, so seeing them work, having them right by your side while you are working, I think where it gets tricky and hard is when they're trying to talk to you and you're in your phone, or your kids are trying to talk to you and they're in your phone. If they're talking to you, you put your phone down and you listen to them. That's what we do. And here's the thing, if I can't, I will say, 1 second, I will get back to you. Hold on, like mommy has to finish this or whatever it is. But I think setting like the communication, making sure that they do have your time, I think is really, really important.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I feel like this is such a really good conversation that doesn't happen enough because it is so real with each and every one of us in every scenario. Like, for example, I don't have kids, but it's happened, like I said, with Aaron, with my family, even with my friends, and even with myself. I'm like, why am I still working? Like, or burning yourself out, even like it totally, it's just such a real thing. It really is. And I love how you said communication is key, because I always say that. And I'm like, guys, it sounds so corny, but it's so true. And if you feel like you're stuck in this pattern and it's something's not working, just ask them. Be like, what, can I give you, could we do a date night once a week? Like take that next, ask them questions. I always tell my team this when we're talking to potentials, right? We always preach it, ask questions. You can't get an answer from someone if you're not asking questions, right? But I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that. Okay,
Yeah.
so going on to kind of like promotion and team building and stuff, all that good stuff. So we had a question about how you grew from from rank to rank and continuing that belief, but also growing that belief as well. And I think the question with like getting your team to kind of not necessarily, I guess, rally with you, but also, go with you and continue as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess we can start with that and then we can go into the next ones there.
Okay. So I think every rank is going to look different. So the thing is, so like when I went, what really drove me to go to double in 5 months was my why. Okay. So that really drove me. And then I had no idea what I was even doing because I was just like ignorance on fire kind of thing. So I was actually stuck at double for 2 years. And the reason why is because I had no leadership. I really didn't even know, you guys, I went to double. And then the next month, I didn't even know that you like how to even like, I didn't know you could maintain by volume. I didn't even know how much the volume was. Like, I literally knew nothing. I don't even know how I got to that double, besides just really hard work. But hard work can get you guys to a certain point, and then you will be stuck, because then it comes down to your mindset, it comes down to your leadership skills, and it comes down to your faith. And so I was stuck at double diamond for 2 years, and then I pushed to triple, and then I was stuck at triple for 2 years. And so I lost my rank at triple for a while, and I was just stagnant. I remember my paychecks were always huge. They were always above the average. So, my triple paycheck was literally probably almost as much as it was over a presidential paycheck. And so, the reason why, you guys, is because I was and I wasn't stuck for lack of work. Every single month, you guys, I would get so many customers, so many distributors. I was always a high enroller. So my cabs were huge. And so I would always, and so my paychecks were huge. And so at triple, I kind of got stagnant a little bit because my paycheck was huge and I didn't know what to do with that money. But here's the reason why I was stuck for so long. It was not because I wasn't working hard, because every single month, every single day, I've always been consistent. I've always been a really hard worker, but your hard work will only get you so far. I really needed to take a step back and learn how to lead a team, learn how, like what we just talked about, learn how to fit the business in with my life, learn how to be a good mom and a business owner, a good wife and a business owner, and a good leader as a business owner. I had to learn that to take care of myself as well in that process, so it was a huge learning area. But here's the thing, you guys, as soon as I started growing in my faith, as soon as, because I was so frustrated, I was like, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have been at that point where, because I was like, I've never been given one distributor, I've never been given one customer, and people who I was enrolling weren't working how I was working. And I was frustrated. I was like, why is this happening? And so finally, I listened to something and they were like, talking about self-development. I was like, okay, well, I don't even know what that is, but I don't know how I got to triple without self-development, but here we are. So now I'm going to start diving into self-development. So I did, and I started listening to The Secret every single day. I started, listening to podcasts, reading books, just really incorporating, self-development and faith and belief and things like that. And so I started doing that. And here's the other thing that totally changed my business. I started doing the miracle morning. And that was, I would say, that and incorporating faith, like manifesting things. I started manifesting things. I started journaling. I was paid as a double, you guys. I went to a conference, paid as a double. I was a triple, but paid as a double. And I was doing the manifestation, journaling, and miracle morning for, I think I started in like November of that year. Went to conference in January, paid as a double, no number. In May, I went presidential. So what was that? So like 7, 8 months. So doing this in, 7 or 8 months, I was paid as a double. And then in May, I went presidential diamond and I was number 66. They announced the numbers. So at conference, I was nothing. And then in like 7 or 8 months, you guys, I truly believe, because my work never changed, always the same, consistent, did my tasks, always steps to success, above steps to success. What changed was miracle morning and my faith and my mindset. So in 8 months, I went, number 66 in the entire company. And then in February, or was it March? In March, I went ambassador. So in a little over a year, you guys, being paid out as a double, having no number, I went a little over a year to ambassador diamond, number 30 in the company. And then I just kept rolling with it, because really, like, it's not about, you don't have to work harder. If your work ethic is so strong, you guys, and you're not rising up, then you got to check your mindset. You got to check your faith. You got to check what you're doing. How are you manifesting that next promotion? And so then, we went and started building the 2.0. And so then, this past February, we went 2.0. So it's just been, I truly believe that you can have it all. You can have the best marriage. You'd be the best mom. You can take care of yourself. You can have the strongest business if you are, making sure that you are giving all areas that love and that attention that is needed. You just have to make sure that you're being consistent. But I think that the biggest thing ever, and what completely changed my entire, like, everything, was the miracle morning. So a morning routine. And then, like I said, increasing your self-development, increasing your faith, and just believing that, God does have a bigger plan for you. So that's kind of like my journey through, like, the ranks. And so, if you guys are sitting here and you're like, I want to go diamond, or I want to go ruby, and I don't have a team working underneath me, that's okay. You can literally go to double diamond. I didn't have a team at all, you guys. You can go to double diamond. You could probably even go, even beyond that, with your hard work. Okay. But here's the thing, beyond that, you do need a team to lead. You do need a team to rise up with you. And so you do need to have your self-development, your leadership in line and growing at all times. I think the self-development that I do now is literally leadership and faith all day long. And so, I think you can get to certain areas all by yourself in this business, but then it comes time where you do want to grow, in the other areas as well. And then I think you asked how I got, like, team to rally. So you guys all know, like, so when we went, I think I did this even with presidential, but ambassador was the biggest rallying of all. And so I remember we were like, gosh, I think we ended, my numbers were totally off the month we were going ambassador. And I thought like, come the 25th, we're going to be good. We're probably going to need like 10,000 volume. We ended up at like 206 volume. So we needed 44,000 volume in 5 days. And that for us was huge. Like that's a stretch, you know, in 5 days, 44,000 volume. And so you guys have all seen like the thermometer. Like my husband is the one who like came up with that. And so now the whole company, everyone uses the thermometer, which is so cool. But he came home because my faith totally just dropped. And I remember he came home and he was like, why you didn't come this far just to come this far? He's like, let's get this thermometer going. And I made fun of the thermometer, you guys. Like I was like, that's so stupid. I'm like, why would we, like, they're not gonna want to do that. I'm like, no. And he's like, just do it. He was like, because then they can visually see something. And I'm like, okay. And he made it awesome. Like, you know, and so we put the numbers down and I went live and I was so vulnerable with the entire team. And I just told him, and I was crying, not of like, because at that point I wasn't like mad or upset or anything. My faith got like back. And I was like, we can do this. So went live and I'm like, okay, team, like we're 44,000, you know, volume away. Like we can totally do this. They're so vulnerable. Everyone was at their ranks, you guys. That's the crazy part. Everyone was at their ranks. So people needed to rally, continue to rally for these 5 days. They didn't have to. But because I was so vulnerable, because we have created such an incredible culture on our team, everyone had, you know, the ambassador, you know, teams back. And so that's the other thing, you guys. It was not my promotion. It was, you know, first of all, give all the glory to God, because he's the one who really made that happen. But the thing is, you guys, is I made it not my promotion. It was our team is going ambassador. So whatever rank you're going for, make it your team's rank. You guys, we're going to be a diamond team. Like I'm super excited. You guys, this is the first like leadership rank title. Like let's get our team to diamond. Okay, Emily, you are this ruby. You know, Serena, you're this emerald. Okay, let's do this and rally with them. Like speak life into them. Like be vulnerable and be like, okay, this is how much volume we need. You guys, this is going to be a lot of work, but we can do this. And so we did. We rallied. I went live like 3 or 4 times a day, updating them numbers, and it was just an incredible thing. But the thing is, you guys, what got us there? It was not working harder. I mean, yeah, we were working extremely hard, but Ambassador Diamond was already set months ago. That month, we just had to have the faith and we had to have the mindset just to get it done. And we had to have God lead the way. And so I think like whatever area you're at in your business, to get your team to rally is, for one, are you being loud about your goal? You know, are you telling them what your goal is, so that they know, like, okay, like Lauren's ready to go double, like, okay, that I'm her diamond for that double, like I'm so excited, you know, like get your team ready for this, like cast the vision to them, like, you know, make it fun for them, like tell them like where you're at and where they're at in your organization. Do you guys know, like, everyone wants a piece of your team. Everyone wants to be a part of your team. Your team needs to know that they are so valued and loved, even if they are a 400 box, you know? And so when you make them feel that way, your team will have your back. And so we have literally done that every single rank moving forward. And so it's just, you know, I think when you do set the tone for your team, you're taking lead to rallying your team, you're showing your face, you're being vulnerable, your team is really going to just to follow that lead as well. And I think that ever since then, I think even all of my other top leaders have done like some type of thermometer or, you know, system that is just like that.
Okay, so I literally can visualize your live in the VIP page. Well, it used to be VIP. Is that what it's called? I don't know, whatever it's called now. Of you sharing your thermometer. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then you're right, like everyone started to do it. It's just really cool. And it's fun. It's different. And I feel like that's something for me personally that I held back for forever until I can't even say, and even ambassador, I just, you know, shouting it out, it didn't feel like right to me personally in my head, in just like my mentality. But I just was overthinking it, because in reality, people want to win with you. Like, just like she said, like, we are all doing this together, and people want to be a part of it. They do. And when we went ambassador, it pretty much, it was going, I wasn't even shouting it out. I just kind of was having God, take the reins on it, and just waiting for volume to roll over. But my leaders were like shouting it to everyone. And it's crazy, the encouragement and just like the love and appreciation when you're just out there and you just be real, you be vulnerable, you shout it out. Like, it's all just, it's powerful things can happen there for sure. um I love that. It's just, there's so many good things. Guys, give her some love in this chat, please, because she is just giving some amazing, amazing words tonight. All right, so last question. Um, I'm kind of like trying to put three questions into one because they kind of merge together. But as far as, the duplication with your team, obviously you talked about consistency, and, that goes along with duplication amongst your team. But what's your best advice from helping your downline from like newbie to emerging leader, and creating that duplication amongst them?
Yeah. So I think like having systems that, on your team, I think is really important. And so I'll share with you guys like what I do or what like our team does and how it kind of trickles down. But I think for one, like when you have a newbie coming in, they don't know anything about anything, right? And so I think like setting the tone of what's to be done. So our steps to success is something that needs to be done every single month in order to have a successful, lucrative business, right? That just needs to be done. And so setting that tone for them right off the bat of, okay, how much do you want to make? $500. Okay, perfect. Here's what we need to do. And just kind of walking them through that. So I think setting the tone. The other thing is casting the vision to them so that they're coming in as a newbie, having no idea what to expect. But then when you're, casting that vision, like, okay, you can make this $500 in the first 30 days. Here's how we do it. And they feel but like they have you to like, they feel comforted by you because you're walking them through it. You're telling them how to do it, all that kind of stuff. So I think, all of that is really, really important. But some of the duplication that we put on our team is we do a KPI list. And what we did, so on our team, we have a system called the core four and one more. And so it literally is, you guys, the four things that we do on social media, the four things you guys do on social media. We just put like a cute little name behind it. So the core four and one more, the one more is self-development. And we actually, when Amber Parker started doing like the KPI list, we're like, we already do this, we don't need to. But here's the thing is the KPI list, and we did change it to make it fit our team. But here's the thing is the KPI list was the core four that we do. It's just broken down a little bit, into more steps. So it's so simple. So, the KPI list, I don't know if I have mine with me right now, but I think there's like 10 things on there that we do every single day. It's duplicatable, right? People who are working full time or who have a busy schedule on the go all the time, they can literally take their KPI list, put it in their purse, and then take it out when they get 10 minutes, And so the KPI list is something that I truly think like if it's duplicatable, it's easy to teach, and it's the things that we need to do on social media anyways. So we have that. We do the boards. So we do another thing that's very duplicatable is we actually have a posting board. So we, have our newbies jump on that posting board. So there's so many posts on there that they can choose from. That's huge. One thing that I think we all do on our team is that like when we have a newbie come in, and you guys probably do this too, but when a newbie comes in, when they have a comment or they're messaging somebody back and forth, we have them screenshot us the comment and we help them do it, right? So then they're learning how to answer people back and talk to people and where to get the verbiage, all that stuff. So that's something that we do. And then we have the boards, we have the KPI list. And then the other thing that we do is we do in our team page, do you guys know where the guides are? Like used to be like the units. We have that, and it's full of just information where literally somebody could come in and not speak one word to somebody and go through that guide section and they could get to the top of the company. Like it's just, it's a stuff, it's the essential things that you need to build a business. So the work is so easy, and that's what we try to really incorporate on our team, is that the tasks are very easy. If you just focus on the tasks, it's going to be awesome. Okay. You're going to see the results. The thing that is hard is doing it, and doing it daily and doing it consistently and being disciplined with it. And that's where the self-development, that's where, the mindset is all going to come in. That's where your why is going to come in. So in the guide section, I'm kind of going all over the place, but in the guide section, we do a 10-step, and I call it 10 steps because people can get through this like in a day if they wanted to, or a couple of days if they wanted to. It's not a 10 days. Now, if somebody comes in and they just want to kind of do this like leisurely and just kind of take their time, it'll probably take them 10 days. But we do 10 steps where, the first step, we have them do the apps. And so it's just like literally 10 steps on how they can get their first 6 customers. Just as simple as that. At the end of the 10 steps, they should by that time have their 6 customers. And I'll say, like, if somebody is, communicating with me and they're doing their 10 steps, they are probably 100% of the time getting their 6 customers within their first couple days.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you just keep emphasizing on consistency, completing like your daily tasks, discipline and self-dev, and just, you know, you saying what we do, like the tasks that we do are easy. We talk about this all the time. We preach about this all the time. The hardest part is finding that discipline, right? So self-development is so huge. I mean, and it's just like you said when you first started, you didn't have an upline. Like you went on YouTube. Guys, go on YouTube. You can find everything on there. Like you can get to the top of the company just being on YouTube, really. And if you're on my team or Amanda's, obviously if you're on Amanda's, you have all this already. But guys, we're a great team too. Like we have guides set up, we have a system set up, put in place, we have a KPI too. Like it's really, truly, I feel like when it comes down to it, faith is just the biggest thing, along with consistency. And you just preached upon that tonight. So I really appreciate you for taking your time. Thank you so much. We all appreciate you.
Having me. This was so fun.
I know.
I always love doing Zooms with you, Emily. You're always so amazing.
Thank you. You too. But yeah, thank you again. And that's all. All right, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
having me on.